This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
My job to be ready and prepared for my client no matter what the circumstances are.
John Washington is a defense attorney whose client was supposed
People who
to
live in parts of St. Louis County say something disturbing recently turned up on their doorsteps. Tonight, they want action to stop whoever is spreading an anti-Semitic flyer. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. While the content is appalling, some activists are choosing to focus on messages beyond just what's written on the flyer. Our Elise Schoenig is in studio with what people are saying. Elise.
Social media posts show many people were shocked and upset when they found these flyers at their front doors. But I talked to some activists and residents who found the true message to spread here was conversation and positive change.
Hateful words are heavy, but the conversations that follow can be hopeful.
It was hate speech, basically.
JK says he found an anti-Semitic flyer at the front door of his home in St. Louis County.
It's one thing to have a violation of material, but this was a violation of soul. To have that type of hatred placed on my property.
What it really alludes to is the larger context of these flyers and the message that they bring.
Helen Turner with the St. Louis Holocaust Museum says these messages are alarming.
Anti-Semitism began before the Holocaust and continues afterwards. And that to learn this history is to really see the long thread of anti-Semitism.
But she says while the messages appear differently, they're all part of the same thread.
There's very little new that's coming out here. It's just pulling on this historic thread of anti-Semitism.
Turner says this is where we can decide how to act.
How do we learn from the past to make a positive future?
She says there is positivity within negativity, fueled by community.
They should know they're not alone.
The museum's memories are dark.
If we see them alone as singular moments or singular sort of narratives, then we're missing the larger context of anti-Semitism, which is what this is all threading back to.
And so were the flyers.
I, for myself, tried to reach out to the very people the flyer was attacking. And I told them, it's horrible, is there anything I can do to help?
But the conversations like these that follow can be led by light.
Because of that flyer, I got to know some people that I normally would not have gotten to know.
Helen Turner says it's also important to report any threats so anti-Semitism we don't miss that larger picture when it comes to anti-Semitism. So you can contact your local police department or the Anti-Defamation League.
Elise, thanks. A veteran deputy with the Illinois State Police is recovering after being shot while trying to help a stranded driver. It happened around 3 a.m. on Interstate 64 near mile marker 72 in Jefferson County, Illinois. That's between Woodlawn and Mount Vernon. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki is live at the scene with the latest details on this investigation. Holden.
Well, Mike, you just said it there. This all started as a call for a stranded driver alongside the road, and it actually ended with a trooper being sent to the hospital and that driver dead. According to the Illinois State Police, troopers were assisting 23-year-old Brendan Griffin from Albuquerque, New Mexico, when an altercation took place and gunfire was exchanged. Griffin was shot and killed during that exchange, and an unidentified trooper who has spent 16 years with the Illinois State Police was taken to a Mount Vernon area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Many people in this area told me they considered this trooper to be a hero, but at this time, his identity is still not being released as Illinois State Police continue to investigate this entire incident. Any findings will be turned over to the Jefferson County State's Attorney's Office. Reporting live in Mount Vernon, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
Let's take a live look outside in downtown St. Louis at the beautiful Arch. And it was also a beautiful day. Hopefully you're enjoying that low heat and humidity. No telling how long it's going to last. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the Weather First forecast. Love those low humid days because I'm sure they're numbered.
Yeah, the days of frizzy hair are certainly on the way back in for sure. You know, the humidity will come back later this week and so will our chance of showers and thunderstorms, but it's pretty quiet out there right now. And after an active evening south and southwest of St. Louis, things will be pretty quiet for most of us tonight. Looking out over St. Charles, temperatures are in the mid 70s. The humidity levels, yes, they dropped off. We're not dealing with active weather. That has been reserved for areas of eastern Kansas and western portions of Missouri. It looks like that activity is going to stay mainly to our west and southwest as we head through the evening hours. So that cluster of thunderstorms that's been producing severe weather across Kansas will drop into southwest Missouri, and as it rolls through the Ozarks, it tends to weaken. It may give some of us a little spritz or sprinkle tomorrow morning, but for most of us, it's just going to bring an increase in cloud cover around the St. Louis area. So for this evening, look for temperatures to to drop out of the 70s back into the 60s under a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky. A good-looking evening on the way.
Scott, thanks. A year-long operation by the Drug Enforcement Agency put thousands of accused drug dealers behind bars. The DEA in St. Louis was part of a mission that's put a dent in the opioid crisis. The special agent on that case spoke to our Justina Coronel. She joined us live in studio. Justina.
Yeah, Mike, so it's called Operation Last Mile. The DEA's mission was to target specific drug cartels based in Mexico. The agency's efforts nationwide led to more than 3,300 arrests and the seizure of 44 million fentanyl pills and 6,500 pounds of fentanyl powder.
Operation Last Mile was a major crackdown of 2 drug cartels on the distribution of fentanyl and methamphetamine.
This operation is targeting the Sinaloa and the Jalisco cartels, the last part of the distribution chain. That's why it's called the last mile.
Special Agent in Charge Michael Davis with the St. Louis Division says a good chunk of these drugs come from the southwest U.S. border with Mexico.
Those drugs come eastbound to hubs all over the United States.
In the operation, investigators faced another bump in the road.
They're using social media to order drugs.
And through the actions of the DEA St. Louis Division, it made multiple arrests and seizures.
We made 72 arrests. We seized over 1.3 million fentanyl pills, 100 pounds of fentanyl powder.
Aaron Laxton is the executive director of ARCA, the Assisted Recovery Centers of America.
For 22 years, ARCA has been serving the St. Louis community. We like to think of ourselves as the hub of addiction treatment in the state of Missouri. And if I think about my own family, you know, I've lost 3 family members to fentanyl overdose.
His personal experience pushing him and their team to make new efforts, rolling out a mobile unit and eliminating appointments for on-site care.
State's first immediate access drop-in center for addiction treatment.
That's because Laxton says these dealers are packaging drugs differently.
In the form of pressed pills, people may purchase what they believe is benzos on the street. And it's actually fentanyl.
Which means they'll need to get more help to go the extra mile.
We need a lot more to interrupt the drug supply. It's an all hands on deck scenario.
Now we're having some technical difficulties, but for now we're going to try to hopefully upload that story on our website, ksdk.com. But let's send it back to the desk. Mike?